things of God. God prepared her especially for that role. The countless number of things that go unnoticed every day by the rest of the family that she does around the home. The fact that when I come home from work or I'm rushing around trying to handle everything, it's like an OR nurse. Everything I reach for, it's there. It's already been taken care of. It's already been supplied. You know, the simple fact that, I don't know if y'all really think about this, but generally Sundays are not what we would call a day of rest for ministers. If you've ever had to preach a message, Harry knows what I'm talking about. You know, 45 minutes here is equal to a 10-hour workday any day of the week. And then all the preparation and everything that goes on behind the scenes. On Sunday mornings, it's an intense time trying to sometimes put the finishing touches on your message, trying to go over it in your mind, trying to get everything else together, and you walk in the bedroom and the clothes are already laid out, they're ironed, pressed, ready. Guys, those are the kind of things that she just takes care of. And when I'm studying, I don't think I've even ever thanked her for this, but she will quieten the house down when I'm studying. She'll make sure that I've got that quiet, peaceful place to be able to focus my attention in, to do the things that require me that I'm required to do as a minister. And there's not a one of us in here that have not known cases where the wife of a minister either made or broke his ministry. Guys, I've never had to be concerned about that with my wife. She's always been a proper example of a godly woman, a godly wife, a godly mother. I think she's an excellent example of what a pastor's wife should be. Is she absolutely necessary to me? In ways I cannot describe. And those things that I've listed out here only scratch the surface of all the many things, all the many ways she is my helper, designed for me so that I can then fulfill my calling before God that I would be utterly unable to do without her. Not to mention the fact that she just has to live with me. I mean, that's a big enough task on its own. Do you see, husbands, how vitally important it is that we honor our wives? That we realize how priceless they are in our calling before God? And it may not be a calling in ministry. It may be a calling, in being a fisheries biologist or a computer. Carl, what do you do? I'm still not, I haven't quite got my hands wrapped around that one. But whatever we do, whatever our calling is, gentlemen, our wives are priceless. They're priceless as that weaker vessel. And ladies, let me say this and then I'll wrap it up. And gentlemen, this is for us too. But if we keep in mind that the role of the wife, because we're renewing the curse, the results of the curse, the role of our wife is not to be subservient to us for our sake. She's not the slave for our desires. She is to complete us and enable us as husbands to fulfill our calling by God. You see, ultimately, she's serving God as well. She's doing it by being our helper. We're submissive to God. She's submissive to us and to God. Our calling together as a couple, as that two made one flesh, is that calling that God has placed on us. And her role is to be that helpmate so that that can be accomplished. I firmly believe that ladies would not have a problem with the issue of submission if men were fulfilling their role as leaders the way they've been called to lead. Ladies, I wouldn't want the job either if it was just to be there to kneel to His will. But to know that you have a valuable, priceless calling to be the helpmate for that man in his calling, so that together you fulfill God's calling. Man, I wish I'd have put that down on the outline. That's priceless. That's priceless. And men, when we begin to see our wives like that, we will honor our wives. So your final bullet point, the wife's role is not simply to serve the man and become his slave in his desires. Her role is to complete the man and enable him to fulfill God's calling and commands. That's a big difference. It's a biblical difference. And people, I rejoice every day knowing that God has given us the privilege of being able to see the beginnings of the curse being lifted, the curse being turned around, and that He allows us to participate in that and experience it as His people. Let's pray.